then all of a sudden, they're just going to be staring. وَقَالُوا, and they said, يَا وَيْلَنَا هَذَا يَوْمُ الدِّينِ, meaning the day will arrive, and they will have said, oh my God, what horrible thing has happened to us. This is the day of judgment. هَذَا يَوْمُ الْفَصْلِ, this is the day of the final decision. الْفَصْلِ الَّذِي كُنْتُمْ بِهِ تُكَذِّبُونَ, the one that you used to call a lie all the time. اُحْشُرُوا الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا, herd, gather those that have wronged. Now command is in the plural, اُحْشُرُوا. So who is the command to? Well, there's a standing army of angels ready to follow orders. So it's all tied together. Gather them, الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا وَأَزْوَاجَهُمْ, and their spouses. Their spouses here actually also means their class, their elite circle. وَلَا تَمُدَّنَّ عَيْنَيْكَ مَا مَتَّعْنَا بِهِ أَزْوَاجًا مِّنْهُمْ زِينَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Don't be impressed with what we have provided them, a class among them, azwaj among them. They cooperate with one another, they're in a certain circle, they all have membership at the same country club. Those guys, get them all together here. وَمَا كَانُوا يَعْبُدُونَ, and everything that they used to worship, مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ, other than Allah. And this idea of azwaj, you have these elite circles, and in these elite circles, hidden sororities and groups, they have these real weird worship sessions, like devil worship sessions and fire worship and Templars and all this kind of weird stuff. Allah says, gather them, their class of people, their cult, and gather everything they used to worship other than Allah. فَهْدُوهُمْ, then this time guide them, إِلَى صِرَاطِ الْجَحِيمِ, to the path that leads to the roaring flame. The imagery here is of you going on a path, and as you are going, the roar of the flame keeps getting louder and louder and louder. So instead of you running away from the roar, you're heading towards where it gets louder and worse. وَقِفُوهُمْ, and make them stand. إِنَّهُمْ مَسْئُولُونَ, they are going to be interrogated. They're going to be questioned. There are two scenes in the Qur'an that seem to contradict one another. One scene is فَيَوْمَئِذٍ لَا يُسْأَلُ عَنْ ذَنْبِهِ إِنسٌ وَلَا جَانٌ, that on that day nobody will be asked about their sin, no human being and no jinn. They will not be asked. لَا يُسْأَلُ عَنْ ذَنْبِهِ. Surah Ar-Rahman will tell us that. This surah tells us, قِفُوهُمْ, make them stand. Make them stand right here. إِنَّهُمْ مَسْئُولُونَ, they're going to be questioned. So how can the Qur'an say they're not going to be questioned? And it can also say they're going to be questioned at the same time, and they're both about the sinful, both about the criminals. There are stages. When the first sayha happens, when the first scream happens, and everybody starts coming out of their graves, you don't have to go around and ask who's a sinner and who's not. It'll just be obvious from their faces. People know what they did. Some people are going to be offered shade, other people are going to be drowning in their own sweat. That scene is going to be obvious. Then, when the entire chaos of it all is over, and everybody has stood, now the interrogation begins. But until this is the next phase after that. But before that, even criminals will know where they stand. And you can tell them by their foreheads. يُعْرَفُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ بِسِيمَاهُمْ, criminals will be recognized by the look on their faces, by their foreheads, the bulges, the stress. But then later on, now it's time to be interrogated. مَا لَكُمْ, what's wrong with you? لَا تَنَاصَرُونَ, you're not helping each other out today. What's going on? What happened to your power? This is sarcasm from Qur'an. Allah has got all these prisoners in their hellfire jumpsuits standing in front of Him. All their gang, all their clubs standing together. All those billionaires, trillionaires that used to work on kufr. All of them together. And then Allah says, so why don't you help each other out now? Where's your security? What happened to you? مَا لَكُمْ لَا تَنَاصَرُونَ بَلْ هُمُ الْيَوْمُ مُسْتَسْلِمُونَ, rather on that day they're going to try to offer themselves in submission. وَأَقْبَلَ بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ, then they'll start facing one another and start asking each other questions. قَالُوا إِنَّكُمْ كُنْتُمْ تَأْتُونَ عَنِ الْيَمِينِ, they're going to say to the others, you used to come to us from the right. The right means you used to greet us. And you used to come to us from where we wanted to be, a position of power. Yameen also is an expression of power in the Arabic language. You used to come to us from a position of your status, from the right. And you used to give us your advice, and we used to take you seriously because you were people of influence. And the people of leadership are going to say, قَالُوا بَلْ كُنْتُمْ تَكُونُوا بَلْ لَمْ تَكُونُوا مُؤْمِنِينَ. No, the case is that you weren't believers yourselves. We didn't influence you anything. They're denying their influence, and they're denying that they have a hand in you burning in hellfire, the other members of the club, the kufr club. وَمَا كَانَ لَنَا عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ, and we didn't have any authority over you. بَلْ كُنْتُمْ قَوْمًا طَاغِينَ, you were rebellious all on your own, buddy. لَيْنَا قَوْلُ رَبِّنَا then the word of our master has already manifested, it is deserving, the verdict has already come to pass. You see in the previous surah, وَيَحِقَّ الْقَوْلُ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ, the verdict may be passed on the disbelievers, and now the verdict has passed. There it was, لِتُنذِرَ مَنْ كَانَ حَيًّا وَيَحِقَّ الْقَوْلُ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. The messenger has been sent, the Qur'an has come down, so it can warn those who are still alive. And the disbelievers, the verdict may come to pass on them. Now in the next surah, we're seeing the verdict has passed, and they're saying, yep, you know what, we deserve it. We both deserve it. Okay, you know, you were pretty bad on your own, and yes, I was an influential figure too, but so I'm here also. So the word has passed, inna ladha'iqun. We are now just going to be tasting it now. Inna ladha'iqun, we are constantly going to be tasting this torture. It's like saying, let's just burn now, okay? There's no point yelling at each other. It's a done deal. فَأَغْوَيْنَاكُمْ. Yeah, we did kind of mislead you too. إِنَّا كُنَّا غَاوِينَ. We ourselves had always been lost. It's not like we guided you to something. We lost you because we ourselves were way off the path. فَإِنَّهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ فِي الْعَذَابِ مُشْتَرِكُونَ. Then on that day, those people, no doubt about it, are going to be partners in punishment. They're going to be sharing in the punishment. إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَفْعَلُ بِالْمُجْرِمِينَ. No doubt that is how we deal with criminals. That is in fact how we deal with criminals. إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا إِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ. Those are the kinds of people that whenever it's said to them, لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ, whenever لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ is said to them, whenever they're told nobody should be worshipped or obeyed or devoted to except Allah, يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ, they show pride. They try to show their arrogance. وَيَقُولُونَ, and they would turn around and say, إِنَّا لَتَارِكُوا آلِهَتِنَا. We're going to be abandoning our gods? لِشَاعِرٍ مَجْنُونَ. For this insane poet? You want us to leave it for this? What was the last surah ending with? وَمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ الشِّعْرَ. We didn't teach him poetry. And now we're going to leave our gods for this crazy poet? That's what you want us to do? بَلْ جَاءَ بِالْحَقِّ. Rather, he has come with the truth. وَصَدَّقَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. And the messenger, and he's confirmed the truth in all previous messengers. He's proven that all previous messengers were true. إِنَّكُمْ لَذَائِقُ الْعَذَابِ الْأَلِيمِ. You people are the tasters, the continuous and constant and endless tasters truly of the painful punishment. وَمَا تُجْزَوْنَ إِلَّا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. And you are not being compensated with anything at all except what you did yourselves.